Nobody will help if you fly too close to the sun, 'cause you're gonna get burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned.
Welcome back to Two Chicks, One Pod. This episode might also be triggering for some people if you've experienced any type of slut shaming or anything on that kind of topic. We're going to talk about our experiences of slut shaming, and I'm going to tell my kind of side, and Val is going to put in her views, obviously, because she was also in McDonald's and she has a different viewpoint on what went on for me. But basically, from the very beginning, I was new. I worked in the kitchen, which was predominantly male, and female was normally service. Just kind of worked out that way. We didn't really decide where we went. Whoever was running the shift did, and it just happened that women tended to do
more service
more often. That did actually change as time went on, I feel. But at the beginning, it was male in the kitchen.
Mainly like that.
And I trained in kitchen, so I was around the guys. I'm quite outgoing, so I'm kind of make friends quite easy when it comes to just getting the awkwardness out the way and starting talking. And so I done that with the guys in kitchen because that's who was around me. And kitchen was at back and service was at the front. And being someone that's new, I didn't feel comfortable going up to the front of the store and trying to talk to the girls because I was at the right back of kitchen. I was brand new. I didn't know the store. I didn't know the people. So I just kind of stayed in my lane.
As in many workplaces, there's groups. So
yeah,
obviously, like, it's difficult when you're new to try to start talking to people because groups are formed already. There's always like the usual like OG people. They've been there for a long time. They're friends. They don't usually let people in that easily. So they might talk to you first and
then talk behind your back after.
as soon as you go away.
Yeah. And for me, it was quite a strange one. It was just, I'm quite a flirty person with both male and female. So with the guys, I just kind of made friends with them because they were around me all the time. They didn't really care. They were just in it for a laugh, doing the job, whatever. And being quite flirty, I always had people having opinions on that. Some taking it the wrong way, some assuming something out of it, and some honestly didn't. They were chill. But I definitely had a lot of people that were like, oh, she's flirting with me. Like, I should try and get in there. Yeah. But for me, being Irish as well, I feel like it's quite a typical thing. Like, everyone flirts with everyone. It doesn't mean anything at all.
Yeah.
And from that, rumors started. Obviously, people assumed from the way I chatted with the guys and not being around the girls that much, they all would be like, oh, why is she not coming talking to us? Like, blah, blah, blah. She always wants to be around the guys. The term pick me, which I didn't actually know what it meant when I came here, but they said that I was a pick me, which is typically like someone that's like wants the attention of the guys, is like, oh, I hang out with guys, I'm one of the guys, just to get kind of the guys' attention or something. Is that correct? I could be wrong. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so I got that a lot just from the workplace, which is not something I could control where I was. And it was a girl that actually walked into kitchen randomly and just butted into one of my conversations. It was like, hey, I've not met you yet, and started talking to me. And that's kind of how I integrated into actually talking to some of the girls. And some of the girls changed their mind about, obviously, me and what they had heard because they got to know me. But there was still some that still thought it. And it kind of grew from there.
And it became a bigger and bigger and bigger thing.
Yeah, and I made it more of a humorous thing. Like, I made it funny. I didn't really dwell on it. I wasn't like, look, this...
Taking it too personal.
Yeah, I'm not going to let it ruin my day or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't try and take things to heart. I just brush it off.
Which is not always easy.
Yeah.
When you say that. Because, like, if they were to do something like that to me, I don't know at first if I could just let it go like that.
I think I grew up around a lot of bitchiness.
In Italy, it's quite similar.
If like you look terrible one day, I'm going to tell you look terrible so that you can sort yourself out and then look good, because you don't want to let them go out looking terrible, like stuff like that. Like you're straight up. And then it's always the tone of voice though, because obviously you could be mean to someone and actually be mean to someone. So to me, I was like, it was always a thing back home. You brush it off, you don't care, you don't let it affect you. Obviously it still can affect you, but on the outside, it's quite a hard shell. Like you don't let anything in, you're just like...
Brush it off. And
yeah, exactly. So I made it kind of funny. I kind of owned it a little bit. There was a name for it, which I'm not going to say because it included a place name. But it was place name Slut. And I wore it like a badge, even though it was not true compared to some of the people. Like some other people could have taken that crown, like easily. But people just assumed that I was getting with a load of people when you could count on one hand how many people I had been with at McDonald's. And they all assumed it was in like the double digits at least. And I was like I even had a friend ask me and be like,
is it actually true? Like how many people?
Yeah, how many, like who? And I was like, I'm gonna be honest, it was 3 people and they didn't actually work there at the same time. It was also in the space of 3 years.
Horrible.
So 1 person from McDonald's per year. I'm terrible. But yeah, no, it's kind of funny for me at least, but it's definitely not funny in general.
Heard that like as a woman you might get that a lot, as lots of women do. It's not just workplaces, it's cool, it's like group of friends everywhere. Mm-hmm. And at least once in a lifetime I think we got all like a little bit slut shamed.
Oh, every single woman in the world has been slut shamed for
even
something.
Just like even if you get promoted at work, well, Leah knows something about sleeping her way through the top.
I forgot about that. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna actually rewind a little bit. So me getting promoted started with, we had a girl boss, a girl business manager, and she had fast-tracked me to become manager, but she had actually left before I officially done the manager course and became a manager, and a new business manager who was male took over. And
that's when Leah went. Start her story again. But this time she went for the top, not just for like normal crew members. No.
Don't be silly. I don't stoop that low.
We want the top.
And I became friends with him, and I helped him like learn who done what and who was good at what, blah blah blah. And for some reason, for some reason, because I was friends with this person, I made the mistake of becoming friends with a male. As you do.
You never learn.
I don't, honestly. People thought that because he continued on promoting me to manager like the plan was from the female manager, everyone thought that like he was getting something, and that's why he promoted me.
To add to that story, to be honest, from the outside, because like at that point I didn't know you.
Yeah, and we weren't friends at this point.
Exactly, like not yet. I knew her, we talked a little bit, but I was still going through my own process. She was already kind of fast-tracked to manager. And I remember one of the like top-notch conversation was like, do you think Leah is doing something with the boss? And to be honest, we all thought that was the reason why you were getting promoted. It was like, we don't understand how is it happening so quickly. Yeah. And obviously not.
But
like
nobody
from my
knew
side, what was
the
actually going on.
conversation between me and the previous business manager, or our plan that we had put in place.
So if you looked at it from the outside, and also the kind of like
It just looked like he took over and boom, I was become a manager.
And the fact that like they got close quite quickly because like she was helping him with like
getting into the store.
Like people, just to get to know the people and stuff like that. So obviously that from the outside, it kind of looked like, oh,
sketchy.
They're a bit close. Needs to see how close.
Something's
and
happening.
Unfortunately, this is quite sad, but like it was not only females, because usually this is kind of a female thing. You just like slut shame another girl. You just be like, oh.
Which is terrible. Don't bring down other girls. Don't slut shame.
Slogan for life. Don't slut shame. But that is one of the usual things that happens. Like, it's another girl bringing up, probably like, we don't know if it's like jealousy or something like that. Oh, she must be sleeping with that person if she's getting promoted. But the worst thing, it was the older male managers. They had their own opinion about that too. They didn't even know anything about what the conversation was before.
Yeah.
Anything, like not even when the older business manager was there.
Which escalated. It was like one person hears something, then it expands to the next and so on.
And so obviously like you just need one person with a big mouth.
I feel like the best way to look at it is if people are wasting their energy on making up rumors about yourself, fair enough, you waste your time. I'm not thinking about you, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Like I'm privileged that you care so much about my life.
Oh yeah.
A funny thing to point out about the guys is that I feel like I predominantly got talked about by the guys that I turned down.
Yeah, that is also true.
I've had guys that asked me out, things like that, and I was like, no, sorry. Okay. Like whatever I said to whoever it was, and I had them then like add and start rumors and be like, oh, she didn't like trying to on with me because she's sleeping with this person. And they would use an excuse for why I turned them down and not just accept the fact that I turned them down.
But they wouldn't even mention that and being like, oh my god, she's such a slag, blah, 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 blah. And after, when I heard your story with some of these people, I'd be like,
I'm trying to figure out who this is. Oh damn, I forgot about him. Oh.
Yeah.
I can add the story behind that of me turning them down.
Because after, obviously, when you told me that story, I'll be like, now I understand why he would say something like that, which is not an excuse.
That was messy. That was very messy, mine and his story. Because that started way back when I was quite new, and he had a girlfriend that I didn't know about. Because I was still new at this point. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know who was dating who. And we were at a club. We were
trying to say that she didn't do it on purpose, but...
I didn't do it on purpose. Just hold it. Hear me out.
I'm getting stressed.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. We were at a club and I didn't know these people that well.
So it was the club story.
This is the club story. We're at the club and
this requires a change of flavor.
I was sober at this point. I had only had a couple of drinks, so I wasn't sober. I just wasn't that drunk. And
I wasn't sober, but I wasn't drunk.
I was probably a bit drunk, but he was flirting with me and he like tried to go in to kiss me, and I was like, imagine. No, I was like, no. I was like, sorry, but
you got it wrong.
And he was a bit adamant, and I kind of just left and went to other people. And then I got really, really drunk. This was like coming to the end of the night, and I was very drunk. And we're on the dance floor. Well, actually, no, I was sat down, and we were just talking, me and this guy, and he was like, oh, let's go dance. And he dragged me to the dance floor, but instead of the dance floor that everyone was on, he brought me down a corridor to a different dance floor where no one was. And he goes in to pull me. And drunk me was just like,
yeah,
what the heck? Why not? And I pull him. And then the next day, I'm talking to someone, and so I hadn't said anything. I was just like, that happened, okay. But apparently he had told his lad friends and they had told everyone. And I didn't really care. But then people told me that he had a girlfriend. And I was like,
You
what?
just ruined families.
Homewrecker. I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, he's been with this girl for a while. I think it was like a year, 2 years, like it was in the years that he had been with this girl. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why would he do that? Why didn't he tell me at least?
Yeah.
So I had a chance to be like, I don't want to be involved in this. But then ended up he at a crew night out, he ended up doing bits in a bathroom with another girl, and she knew that he had a girlfriend. And then
Wait, who's this person?
Oh, I just cracked my neck. God.
Well, yeah.
In the bathroom doing bits, and she knew. And later on, I was told by people who knew his girlfriend that she was driving through the drive-thru trying to see in to try and see me, thinking that I was the one that knew and done bits and stuff like this. I don't think she was told about me actually getting with him the first time, like actually when it was me, but they thought that I was the other girl and that I knew and everything. And apparently she was out to get me. Like she hated me, she was coming after me, all this stuff.
Not a surprise.
And I was like, this is a common topic.
Well, pause a second, this story. You also had another girlfriend that was literally running after you. Oh, yeah.
Oh! That's another really good story. And comment, we will come back to that in another episode.
That is like big stuff.
I'm a little bit mean in that story though.
This is the whole point of the podcast.
But it was accidental. But anyway, another episode for that. Now I'm thinking about that story. But anyway, other story. Yeah, so this girlfriend was after me apparently, and I was like, to the people that knew her, I was like, you know that wasn't me, right? They were like, yeah, and I was like, why didn't you tell her?
No, that's funny.
I was like,
Why stop the game when it's so funny?
I couldn't give a shoot if she's after me. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't know. It's not like me that she should be mad at. It should be him. Like, because he has done this multiple times.
He had the girlfriend.
Knowingly after being in a relationship for a while. And if it happened twice, it's probably happened more than that. So stuff kind of went down with all of that. And everyone was kind of like, she must have known that he had a girlfriend. And I was like, I'm new. I don't know who, because this girlfriend didn't work at McDonald's.
No.
She wasn't mentioned.
She was one of the few people that was not involved in that.
Yeah, she had nothing to do with McDonald's. She didn't ever show up at McDonald's, so I never saw this girl. Basically, if you have a boyfriend that cheats, don't get mad at the girl, get mad at the guy.
He's the one that has a relationship.
First of all, she mightn't have known. Second of all, you don't know her. She didn't technically do anything to you. She mightn't have even known that you existed. Get mad at your boyfriend for cheating on you. Logic, please. Stop getting mad at the other girls. Unless they were like doing it despite you. Or like you are a friend of this person and they're doing it like for a reason to get at you. But yeah, this same guy, fast forward a couple years, a year and a half maybe, 2 years. And then comes in the second stockroom story. So we revisited because after that whole incident, after a while, we ended up talking again, and I was like, look, we work together, I'm going to be cordial. We became work friends, like colleagues.
Yeah.
You know, the usual. And we started talking, we were friendly, the usual kind of stuff. And then after like a year, he hadn't been with anyone, and me stupidly was bored. This makes me sound so terrible. I was bored, and I started talking to him. Like proper flirting. But like he started it in all fairness. He was the one flirting with me, and then I was like, I'm kind of bored, so why not? So then, yeah, one thing led to another. we ended up pulling in. He was not on shift. He had finished his shift, but I was on shift, so I got paid for shifting. And oh, sorry, Picky. And yeah, that happened, and he was actually heading on a night out afterwards, and I was like, okay, have fun, enjoy. I'm gonna go back to work. And we kept talking after that, but I won't lie, I got bored of him. That sounds terrible again, but he never shows any progression of anything. Like, he just, I don't even know how to explain it, but there was just no progression. Like, nothing was happening.
It would just stay in the flirt zone.
Yeah, it was just sat at that kind of like, is it gonna go anywhere kind of stage.
Yeah.
Monster coffee and water. That's for, what's it called, Rumble?
Oh, take off the mic. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Leah went for a bathroom break. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. That's it. That's the end of the song. God! Oh, fuck. We just destroyed everything. That's it.
Slap my ass and call me daddy.
Did you record this? Like,
is it still recording?
Yeah.
So
I was talking about
that was like serious.
me getting bored of him. Oh, I found a good way of saying that while I was sat at the toilet. Yeah, I was getting bored of the whole situation because I guess, so he came over to my house before, and before the whole stockroom situation. So he was at mine, it was sometime around it anyway, I'm not sure when, but he was at mine, and it was the most boring interaction of my entire life. I was like, we were like chilling, talking for a bit, and then I was like, what do you like to like do? What do you like to watch?
I like being bored.
He was like, I don't really watch TV. And I was like, what do you read? He was like, no, I don't like reading. I was like, what do you do in your spare time? And he was like, I either go and play football matches or I just sit on my phone. I was like, what the bleep are we meant to do? That's so boring. I was like, you don't do anything else? Do you at least like do anything fun with your friends other than football? No. Maybe go on a night out and drink. I was like, God damn.
Sounds quite boring.
Like, I need a guy who can sit and binge watch Vampire Diaries with me. Like, I can't be dealing with a non-TV watcher. I was like, do you even like a movie? Like, what's your favorite movie? Don't watch movies. I was like, what the heck? So after that...
No movie night for him.
No movie night. I need a movie nights. And like, he didn't even like watch YouTube or like anything. He was just like, I just scroll bloody Instagram or TikTok or whatever the heck, like on his phone, and text like some people sometimes. And I was like, and what if you don't feel like being on your phone, or what if your phone dies? He was like, I just sit on the couch.
Jesus.
I'm not
He's
even
just gonna be like,
I'm literally not joking. I'm not even exaggerating. I was like, what if you didn't have your phone? And he was like, I'd probably just sit on the couch and
doing what?
Stare at the wall. Like, I did not, like, probably the most boring person I've came across in my life. I'm not.
I could never.
I can't even exaggerate it. Like, it's just to the point of being impossible. Like, I was like, I could not be with someone like that.
Like that.
Even hang out with someone. Like, it's just so boring.
Yeah.
And so after that, it kind of fizzled out. I was like, mate, we have nothing in common. We have nothing to talk about. Like,
bye.
What is the point? And then after that is when comes your story about him coming to you. This is in connection of me saying that guys tend to add rumors when they were rejected for whatever reason, because they didn't want to say that they were rejected.
Because, for example, like one
Not
thing
all
really
guys,
stupid,
but...
it would be like, you know, since Leah got promoted, did you notice, like, for one day she came at work like full face makeup,
Like running out
she
after.
thinks she's so amazing. But that would be, for example, like one of the things that the comments they would make.
Also stupid. Like, who gives a crap if I wear makeup to work?
But for him,
Whose
it was
business
like,
is it?
oh, do you see? Like she wants to get attention by doing that, which is really
guys,
stupid.
I'm an attention seeker for putting on some makeup. I'm pretty sure it
So
was
they
like
were right when they
foundation and
called you Pick Me
bronzer.
Girl?
I'm a pick me. Just pick a name. I've been called it.
And fast forward to a little bit later, when everybody thought that you were sleeping with the boss.
Oh yeah.
For the
People thought-
promotion.
People thought I slept with your man as well. I could be. It's just what I heard, so I don't know if it was just rumor or if that's actually what happened. But that did go around as well, that I was sleeping with him, which I never did ever.
Actually, the whole like guy thing happened when all the store was thinking that she was sleeping with the boss. Like that happened around the same time.
Yeah.
Because like we were all managers at that point, so it happened around that time. This is why we say that she slept her way to the top, which obviously is not true. It never happened. It would be, as I said, kind of easier to make that assumption, thinking that like that was the reason why she got promoted, because like nobody knew the background of anything, like not conversation.
Also, everyone called me lazy all the time, so I don't even know why.
I think because like even when you were thinking, like it wasn't like an active thinking. It was like
Yeah. Whenever I was stressed or anything, everyone
You
else
would
that was
just-
stressed was like running around rapid, being
and
like,
you
I
will
need
see
to.
her just like kind of
But
black out,
me,
but like
I just kind of stop and I'm like, right, figure out
so
what to do.
people think that used to think they say, oh, she's not doing anything.
Most of the managers there run around, but I don't really freak out. And then after I was done doing that, I would start doing all the things that I was figuring out what to do. And in my point of view, I think there's no point in getting stressed about it, because then it makes everyone else stressed. So I was like, I need to just pause, figure out what to do, and do it calmly.
Yeah.
And sort out the situation. But because I paused and I took a second to figure out what to do and then done it, people always would be like, oh, she doesn't care, she's lazy. It also came from people that didn't like me, would say that I spent the whole office in,
The whole time.
or the whole time in the
She
office.
spent the whole office.
The whole time in the office. And it got to the point that multiple managers, because the managers hated me. Like, I got on with them before I became manager.
I think it was because like the whole like slut
thought
shaming
of
thing.
me sleeping my way up.
This is like her way.
Because I got on with them before I became a manager.
But after it all went like downhill.
Actually, the boss was actually harder on me because we were friends and he was wanting to actually make me better at my job. So he would be, if I was doing something wrong, he'd text me like constantly. Or if he wasn't at work, he'd be texting me being like, hey, I'm looking at the stats. What's wrong with this? You need to do this, do that, do this. And he'd be on top of me all the time. If I saw him outside of work, he was bringing up work and bringing up how I can do better.
Yeah.
He was always questioning everything, but people didn't see that because he would text it to me when I'm not in work, or if he was in work, he'd speak to me on the side.
For example, with me, he was a lot more vocal about it, and like wasn't just like under everybody's eyes.
And he would constantly be on me for it, like for everything.
And also another interesting part about slut shaming, other than coming from both male and females, is, for example, in my personal experience outside the workplace, so-called friends, they assume that like the reason why you got certain things, but like I don't know, they might think, oh, you do it like that.
It's such a weird thing, like rumors, like they literally come out of nowhere, or like
And
come
they just
from the smallest little
literally
thing of someone
make up
that.
stories. They're like also like quite like dense stories. It's not like just like
It's like it's a full on, as if
straightforward
it's true.
one.
Like
Yeah.
it's full on, like they come up with.
This is why it's easier to
full
believe in
stuff.
them.
Yeah, because it seems legit. But I was lucky because I had CCTV on my side, and I had like higher ups that were on shift and could watch me and disprove what they were saying. But for things like school and outside of work, that's not something that you can be like, well, hold on, let's look back at the cameras
and let's see what happens.
and actually see the truth. Also, it wasn't just me, like other people had it, but for some reason I just kind of took the hardest of the blows.
Oh, and also the slut shaming. This was the thing.
You remembered?
That men tend to believe that women are not as smart, as good in their job. So there must be a reason, like, that it's not that just they're good enough at their job to get
where
promoted,
they are, yeah.
but it's just like you must have done something to get to that
where you are.
You must have slept with someone, or you need their guidance. Otherwise, you're stupid. We're curious to see if anyone else had this kind of experience.
In work or out of work.
If you're flying
Or
too
in
close to the
school,
sun,
even.
'cause you're gonna get burned.